Hey friends, hope the morning's treating you well. Hope you got your coffee. I've had some hotel coffee and it has not kicked in yet, but I'm pressing on the best I can. I'm in a hotel room in Austin, Texas, and I was going to talk about Jeff Beck a little bit here, but you can hear the freeway roaring outside my window. It's 35 is just about 200 yards outside there, and it is loud. It sounds like a fan or an air conditioner on in this room, so if you hear that, I apologize. But what can I say about Jeff Beck that hasn't been said by a million people in the last couple days? The first thing, if I think of Jeff Beck things that I dig, I think the first thing I think of is that Crazy Legs album he made in the early 90s. It's an album of Gene Vincent songs, and Gene Vincent's guitar player, Cliff Gallup, was Jeff Beck's biggest influence. Is one of the reasons for making that album. That's a fun album. I enjoy that one quite a lot, and even more so, there's a video here on YouTube of, I guess, the band that did that album. Jeff Beck was going to play a show, and all of the band members were in the same city, in the same place, unexpectedly, and they just kind of decided, well, let's go ahead and do an opening set of those rockabilly songs from that album. So they get together. This is the video. It's like 25-minute long video, and I'll link to it down below. But they're playing these, rockabilly-ish songs, these 50s sounding songs. And man, there's no surprise Jeff Beck's a great guitar player. But there's a thing that I think of with Jeff Beck, like a sound, mostly of what he evolved into, which is an amazing thing. A guy who could play like a fusion stuff. But he's in this setting, this says a lot for him. In this setting, he is playing stuff that is so damn appropriate for the setting. He's playing these rockabilly songs. He's playing an old Gretsch. It's a big Gibson hollow body. I don't remember what it was. He's playing a Telly on there, and they're doing, if you search Crazy Legs Jeff Beck, you'll find this, but I'll try to link to it below. Everything he's playing is really great. He's got the clean-ish, slightly overdriven slap back sound, really, really great tone, and he's playing really cool ass rockabilly type stuff. And a lot of times, great guitar players in those situations, like the guitar god type people, if you see them at the blues jam and they're just playing completely inappropriate stuff, just dweedly, 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 and the big 8-finger pull-offs and the dive bombs and all that stuff, which might be fine in what they regularly do, but in that context, it just doesn't seem to fit at all. Jeff Beck's doing none of that. He's so in tune to what that gig is and respecting that gig, and I think that says so much more about him as a musician than, a lot of the other stuff that he does. Just the fact that he would go from this to that and respect that gig for what it is and bring his talents to that. He plays really freaking great. And it's not all the dweedly dweedlies, but it's really cool stuff that he's playing. And it's a fun set. One other thing that's worth watching with him. So this band shows up. I think they had 24 hours to get it together, so I'm guessing there might have been one rehearsal if there was anything. I don't know. All this is off of the top of my head. But you can see Jeff Beck leading the band, where he's giving all kinds of cues. And if I don't know that I would think of him as, a guy who has ever played these kind of gigs where, so this is a better way to say it. If you go down on Lower Broadway in Nashville, or if you go down on Beale Street in Memphis, or even Bourbon Street in New Orleans, when you're watching those bands, a lot of times somebody just showed up to be in the band, and they kind of knew the material, but these particular musicians may have never even played together before. It happens a lot, and I mean a whole lot. Somebody is leading the band, and there's a skill to that and a seasoning that someone has to be able to do that. And man, Jeff Beck is doing that, where he's leading this band. He's smiling, like, you know, he's giving these big exaggerated cues to where we're emphasizing this part. Here comes the big ending. Let's turn it around to the bridge, you know, or hey, sax player, this one's yours. You know, cues that everybody's watching you because you're the band leader and you got to show it. Now, a lot of like famous guitar god type people may not have played those kind of gigs, and they may not have, it may not be so good. They're maybe used to playing something that's a rehearsed set that they're going to tour the world with, you know, or at least have a very rehearsed band and all of that. And but Jeff Beck, it's obvious he knows what he's doing, and he's interacting so well, and it's nice. I've seen him do this on a lot of, like, when you see videos show up on YouTube or whatever, seen him just when somebody plays something that he likes, he makes a big exaggerated gesture that tells the audience, man, this person is kick-ass. That was great, I really dug that. And if you're Jeff Beck, you don't have to do that. You really don't. But it says a lot that he wants the audience to know, man, this person just played their ass off on that, or I enjoyed that, to try to put them over, you know, and try to put the spotlight on them every now and then when they can. And there's a lot of that with Jeff Beck, and I like that. You know, that seems like a very a generous person. And also when you do that, a lesson for anybody out there who cares, a lot of you already know this, but when someone's playing with you and you think they're great, and you tell people, no, they're really great, and you tell them why they're great, that makes you look good in a few ways, because someone that great is playing with you. You know, that's kind of, as I said, then you look good for not being an asshole who's trying to steal every ounce of spotlight that you can and trying to push everybody else into the shadows. So that reflects really well on Jeff Beck to me. I enjoy that aspect of his playing. And as he got older, he got really good at knowing every little sound that you can get from a guitar. Like, there's all kinds of strange, fun noises that can be created. I mean, there's endless amounts of them. He had this expanded vocabulary of those sounds that he could just pull up in an instant and use in the middle of a phrase. And it's really fun watching, and I say watching, listening to Jeff Beck play, but like when you watch him do it, it's always really fun, because you kind of realize, man, it takes a long time and a ridiculous amount of practice, you know, and woodshedding, and just playing with folks to learn a few of those, but to seek them out and learn places where you can put them that will bring the music to a different place. You know, he had a big, wide vocabulary of those, and he was really great at just putting them in different places, tasteful and fun places. But I dug the stuff as a Jeff Beck group, Rod Stewart. I dug the Yardbirds stuff. I never got to see him live. He came to Brown County and down around Nashville, Indiana, a few months ago, and him and Johnny Depp came to the Little Nashville Opry House. I don't know what they call it. It burned down a few years ago, and they rebuilt it into a nice facility. I haven't been there yet, but he played there, and I was thinking I should go to that, man. And it's so weird thinking of Johnny Depp being in this little bitty town there in Brown County, but I was thinking I should go to that. And it was pretty expensive, and I'm cheap, so I didn't go. And like many things, I wish I would have gone now. I had a chance to see him. And he seemed so damn healthy. He always seemed so fit and cut. And at 70, was he 78 years old? It's like, we should all be so fortunate to look that great at 78. We should all be so fortunate to look that great at 58, to be honest with you. But I don't know. What's your favorite Jeff Beck memories or performances on record? Or what phases and eras do you dig? I know I posted a thing with Michael Corcoran a couple days ago. We recorded in this hotel room here in Austin. And he said something about he lost a bet because he thought Jeff Beck played with a pick when the person was saying, no, he plays with his fingers. I guess Jeff Beck played with a pick up until the early 80s, and then he got rid of the pick and started using his fingers, which is that's a pretty big transition, but he played so well with his fingers and was able to get so many sounds and so much feel. There's a section in that video where he's playing a Strat. It's towards the end of the video. He's playing a Strat and he's doing a fast picking thing on a chord, like a high chord, soloing, and it's like really fast like that. And it's really subtle. It's not loud. He's like laid back. That's a hard thing to do with a pick. He's doing it with his fingers. You see he has his fingers together, kind of doing it like that, but then he opens them up and starts doing other things. There's no pick there. And watch that. It's really impressive. He's hope I'm doing that right. And but it's really subtle and soft. It's not a big, loud, overblown thing, and it's worth seeing. And like I said, I'll post that down below. I also heard Lisa Marie Presley passed away. I don't really know anything about her other than she married Michael Jackson, was Elvis's daughter, and she had a plane named after her. I've walked inside that plane before. It was parked at Graceland. Is that where it is or was? But I really don't have anything to offer. If anybody knows any great stuff about her, 54 years old, man, it's too young. It's way too young. But got nothing to offer about that. But I'm here in Austin, interviewing some people, having a good time. Very run down. My hotel coffee is not getting it done, so I'll probably have to sneak out and get some better stuff. And the traffic is unbelievable. I've said that for maybe 10 years now in Austin, but it's just unbelievable how much traffic and how different everything is. I went to South Austin Music yesterday, just went in to look. I drove right past it. I didn't even remember where it was. Just Lamar Street, just so built up and different. It's probably been 3 years. This is the first time I've been to Austin since COVID. So it's 3 years, maybe 4 years since I've been here, and I've been to Austin a lot. And the landmarks just changed so fast. And I was thinking that in the 90s. In the 90s, I was thinking, like South Austin, how could it possibly, everything's exploding and all the people moving here, this is going to end. There's no way this could continue. And it's continued like 20 times past that. And it just continues and continues. And as my friends in East Nashville talk about, bubble's got to burst in East Nashville at some point or whatever, I said, go to South Austin. I've been waiting for that bubble to burst forever. And it's not what it once was. It's not what I remember and love, but there's still people here that were part of what I remember and love. But it's also important to say there are people right now who are young people and it's having the time of their life right here, and this might be the best moment of their lives, so I don't want to ruin that for them. And there are people I knew that were here in the 70s that thought that it completely sucked in the 90s when I thought it was pretty cool. So things move on and change, so we have to move on and change also. There's probably a lesson. I'm guessing each one of the towns that we're all living in has seen some serious changes over the years. So anyway, this is the Hotel Coffee talking. But I'm going to link that Jeff Beck video, and you guys will watch that. And watch that video I uploaded a couple days ago about I visited Towns Van Zant's grave. And I'm thinking a lot of people might not have seen that yet. Go watch that. And also, I posted a thing of Keith Sykes talking about John Prine. I visited Keith on the way down here. I stopped in Memphis. And man, lots of good stuff from Keith still to come. And that John Prine stuff was really, really great. Really great. One of the, my personal favorites, it's one of the high watermarks for the things we've done here on the channel. And this entire trip is made possible by the people who support me on Patreon and through channel memberships here on YouTube, excuse me. I've been eating my weight in tacos, and that one was kind of coming back on me there a little bit. But I'll put up that Towns grave video right here, and you guys can watch it, and I'll see you somewhere down the road. Much love to you.